Hello everybody and welcome back to Enter the Gungeon. This series or sub-series of my Enter the Gungeon coverage is going to be in theory, a 0 to 100% clear through of Enter the Gungeon with the experience of someone who has played the game for over 1,000 hours now. And if you are watching this, if you're brand new here, I've covered Enter the Gungeon a hell of a lot. I have over 700 videos on it, so I think it's fair to say I'm experienced. I've killed the Lich 300 times in a row without dying. Our goal is to get every single unlock in the game without dying. Hopefully helping some people who are new to the game, want to get used to the game. Also, just getting some Enter the Gungeon back on the channel because I adore it. I miss it. But anywho, so I think that the first thing in the save file that we are going to be doing is, guys, how the hell do we play Enter the Gungeon? We're going to be going in here. How do we play Enter the Gungeon? It is important to go in here for the for 100% unlocks because there are going to be some items that you need. Heed my words, I shall show you how to survive this accursed labyrinth. Continue through the door to begin your tutelage. But yeah, anyways, we gotta get a couple items through here. Try flipping the tables, kicking those barrels. Get angry, excellent interacting pupil. Proceed to the next room. I do want to turn off one thing real quick. We can get a couple of things in the settings that I think are relatively important. I like to have screen shake down like crazy. I like quick gun switch, everything like that. Text speed, yep. Anything else? Beast mode, you might as well have it on because it gives you an unlock if you beat the game with it on, and it doesn't actually do anything. Speedrun mode effectively just adds that little timer right there. So what do you need me to do? Most important, right-click to dodge roll in a direction. You're invulnerable to gunfire in the first half of the dodge roll, but vulnerable again when you hit the ground. Yep, ready. So, ready, set, go. You are invulnerable when you dodge roll. This is gonna be. I'll spend my time like talking halfway to people who are, you know, completely familiar with guns, and halfway to people who are not. Typically, you want to dodge into the bullets and not away from the bullets if you want to have a maximum chance of dodging the attack. And the thing is, okay, hold on. Show me what you got. Dodge roll is the first and best way to avoid dying in gunfight. Sometimes the number of bullets can be overwhelming. For instance, there's no dodging through that, but you got a clear path. Those are called blanks. Using one. Okay, so blanks. You can do that, you know? Hell yeah. I mean, I don't need to go through the complete basics, but we are going through the tutorial, so we might as well showcase that. You do get 2 of those blanks every floor. You get them replenished up to 2. If you have more than 2, you take them with you to the future floor. So there can be some situations where you do want to stockpile them. Use the mouse to aim and left click to fire. Reload with the R button. Yep. Alright. As far as like controls and everything like that goes, if anybody's curious what my kind of my control scheme is for Enter the Gungeon, I have the typical mouse and keyboard control. I do find that to be more satisfying for myself to use, binding my reload onto a mouse button 4, so like a side by mouse button. But that, you know, your mileage may vary. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter at all. Alright. But yeah, so you may notice right here, if you're familiar with Enter the Gungeon, the bullets are moving so darn slow. That is because it actually does this thing, and it doesn't even tell you. You can teleport to teleporters. You want to do that just to save yourself sanity. You can warp to any, what was I getting at? What the hell was I getting at? You may notice that the bullets are moving slower than they normally do. That's because this game does this without telling you, but after a certain amount of time, they actually speed up the bullets. After you play the game a little bit, I think it may be after you beat a certain point in the game. I'm not quite sure. Don't know exactly, but after a little bit of playing, you get it. So this is a secret room. Normally, they will not be obviously shown for you. No duh, for people who are familiar with it. And these are the 2 items we needed to get unlocked. Funny enough, these items are now unlocked, the Old Knight's Helm and Shield. Funny enough, you can't really get them unless you are Paradox, which is a character we'll figure out a hell of a lot later. Or I believe you can get the helmet from a purchase in the blacksmith shop. Other than those 2 things, you can't get them. And you also notice this didn't used to be a thing, but it is a synergy now. Right? What is it called? Tutorialize. So I believe that does. I don't know what that one is. Oh, I think that makes it so the shield floats around you. Normally, it just back in the old days, it just gave you armor. I'm pretty darn sure. But that's all they do right now as well. If you get them in the game later. AK-47, very simple gun, but an actually like really, really darn good gun. A lot of getting good at Enter the Gungeon is truly just like realizing what's worth picking up when you can, you know, like in the small amount of times you might be saying, oh, Rito, but this game is all RNG. It's a roguelike. Yeah, yes, but also no. There's a lot of stuff that is going to be RNG, but there's also a lot that you do have control over. We do want to pick up all these credits because guess what? We are back in a place where they matter. I have so many credits on my main file that they go off the screen. But there we go. We got that done and out of the way. That gives us our first couple unlocks ready, and we get the pea shooter as well. Not that we really even want that, but this is all that we're going to be working towards. And it's going to be interesting because I've not played on a base save file since for a long time. There's going to be, we can't go as far as we normally can. Got none of the NPCs unlocked or anything. You're now ready to enter the gungeon. But there's going to be an interesting feeling having a lot of new items unlocked. All right, I believe that yes. So this is a curse shrine that you can make your runs harder, but you do not get the option to do that, I believe, until you kill their past. All right. There we go. Get our first gun. Machine pistol is not a bad one either. Like there's a couple of these guns that you can get right on the base, a base file that you might think aren't very good because they don't seem like an exciting gun. Well, I'll generally talk about like rankings of guns and how good I think things are and how useful I think things are. Obviously, like I said, you can't control everything, but there's some things you can control. That being, like what you want to buy from the shop is obviously up to you. If something is worth money, worth the money that you would pay for it. And then generally, like if something is worth tiers, the tier it's in and everything like that, so you kind of know what you're looking for. If you feel like you might need to buy something that'll make you stronger because the items you don't have are as good, things like that. But a lot of the time, yeah, you gotta deal with the run it's given to you. But this is something people say a lot, and oh my god, I got hit, I'm so bad, delete the game. Here's what I was gonna say. A lot of people wanna blame a lot of losses on games like Enter the Gungeon, stuff like that, on RNG. As far as Enter the Gungeon goes, though, it's one of the less RNG focused roguelikes, I'd say. There is a much higher placement on skill than I'd say a lot of other ones. And I'm not just saying that because I played it a hell of a lot, but a good thing that you can usually use to measure how a roguelike fares in that regard is look at the highest level of players, like the people who have put in about 1,000 hours. Can they consistently beat the game on the hardest difficulty or whatever like that? If the answer is no, if it's like a 50% chance, then guess what? Your game has probably a decent chunk of RNG to it. Like Slay the Spy or something like that. Do you do better if you know what you're doing? Absolutely. If you craft better decks with what you're given, things like that, though, you may run into situations here and there where you can't win. Like at the top level of Slay the Spire, I think the win percentage, hubba. The win percentage is quite low. But here, let's talk about this for a second. Secret rooms, I've been told that they are generally going to form within the boundary. If you draw a box around your map, generally they're going to be in there. Typically, you do have to fire with a gun that is not your standard to reveal them. Typically, you can find them in the first places to check are usually the chest rooms. Obviously, they can't be one there because there's a hallway. But there's a good place to check. Otherwise, you want to check other dead ends like this one here. Shop is another good place to check, but you cannot fire in the shop. Otherwise, you will anger the shopkeeper. So what I like to do is clear the whole floor. If I have any blanks left, I'll usually go throw off a blank in the shop if I didn't find one already. We've got all kinds of keys. Laser sight is actually fantastic in my opinion, and for two reasons. Because we got ourselves the synergy to go with it. And what is going on here? Why is... it's not going. I guess I don't have my gun drop thing, but anyway, so yeah, we get a synergy. If you don't know, synergies are just pairings between two things, scripted into the game to make them usually stronger. There's only a couple in the game that are not very strong. This is a really common synergy to get, and is one to typically look out for. A lot of electric-based, oh man, old ruby bracelet. Electric-based items and technology-based items turn it into this weapon, which gives it the ability to have bouncing shots off of enemies and electric beam in between. But we also got the Vulcan Cannon, which is actually insane, and laser sight is pretty darn good because usually having like at least one accuracy up will help you out a hell of a lot. And that's not even mentioning the fact that there's differences between the base characters. There's some obvious ones. I shouldn't have even blanked there, but it didn't really matter because, like I said, it's gonna go. Our blanks are gonna go up to 2 at the start of the next floor there. Okay, good deal. Shield of the Maiden unlocked. It is a garbage active item that we are not going to use. We also got the Master Round. Once again, apologies for everybody who is very familiar with Enter the Gungeon, but the Master Round you do get for perfecting the boss, and that is where skill especially comes in. You really, really, really want to get to the point where you can perfect the boss. Ruby Bracelet. I believe this is the old version of it, right? All guns thrown wearing this bracelet will explode. Not a very effective item. Usually, this will change into the upgraded Ruby Bracelet later, which is better, but still, I think, not even like a top-tier thing. Gun Knight Gauntlet is a great item to get when you're new to the game. Gives you 1 armor when you pick it up, and then every single floor thereafter, you get an additional armor at the beginning of each floor. It can really help carry runs when you're still working on making sure you're alive. So key economy is another thing that's really important in Enter the Gungeon. You want to make sure you have enough keys for the foreseeable future at all times. Otherwise, you want to probably make sure you pick up, you want to check over here first usually. Nail gun is not very good. It has some okay synergies to it, but even with those, they're not very good, and I don't think that we're even going to get them, so I'm going to say pass on that. Other than that, we have the armor here. If you're newer to the game, going ahead to get enough, to fill up your health usually is a good thing. Unfortunately, you are sacrificing power. Keys are power. If you don't have enough keys to get stuff, keys are power. You really want to make sure you have them. I'm just going to do this just for the hell of it. If I was doing this later, I probably wouldn't. Like if I was just going based off of my autopilot 1,000 hours of gameplay, I probably wouldn't. At 4 keys, I'd probably save my money. And then right here, in theory, I might want to get armor. If I was worried, I would probably pick up some armor here. If you're newer, it might be a safe idea. All health goes into that bank right there. If you get more health drops than you can hold, you can save it for later. It does not carry with you to the next floor. It just goes into the bank right there. But we are honestly, I have enough items to win the game right now. Honestly, without the Vulcan Cannon, I think we have enough items to win the game. Currently, if you're familiar with Enter the Gungeon, we are only going to be able to go to the Dragon right now. We are not even going to be able to go to the past. We might want to work on getting a couple of the bullet that can kill the past items, which is something that will help us, get further on in the progression of the actual whole game here. Bonk. All right. Yeah, we are doing just fine in the old health. Looks like the bullets are indeed speeding up there a little bit here. Could be just because we're on the 2nd floor, honestly. Maybe that's it. That key, very important. Very important for 100% progression, obviously. Unlocks all the NPCs for the game. And as we play this more, I will obviously talk less about what we need to do here. Prime Primer. This is one of the pieces for the bullet killer past. You just need to get to this point with 110 shells. Not too hard to do. We could have even sold stuff at that cell creep that was in the shop on the 1st floor, the sewer grate. Could have sold stuff by dropping it. Bank. Can't drop your starter items though. Could have been something that it's kind of like your first way of like here, prove that you can do this without $110 worth of goods from the shop. It's effectively just like a little challenge mode thing. I don't know how many things we're going to really get here on this first run, to be honest. I do have a supply drop down there that we are going to use any moment here. Shaka Cola, movement speed up. Generally, I think that movement speed ups in roguelikes are very, very handy. Oh, finally! I knew it would be a while before someone came down here, but seriously, it's been forever. Anyway, we should get back to the shop. It's been closed for way too long. You should come by when we're on the top of the level of the breach. Can't miss it. All right. It's going to be our meta progression. Shopkeepers, yada yada. You know the drill there. It's how you can get items to add to the pool to make yourself not necessarily stronger. It's a different type of meta progression. Honestly, my favorite type of meta progression. Using our active item there. Taking like way too many hits here. Trying to do too much explanation. But, and then I put ammo in this, of all things. All right. See, look at this. I played the game for 1,000 hours. I made a mistake. Don't beat yourself up if you can't beat the dragon, you know? Like, I played this for 1,000 hours. I shouldn't make mistakes like that, you know? So don't beat yourself up. I'll try to help you through it. And if you can't do it, you know, just take more time. Everybody can do it eventually. I believe. Share your stories, you know? Share your stories in the comments of your journey with Gungeon and your journey to getting better at it and everything like that. Very interested in... Holy moly. Stupid boy. Stupid boy. Let me tell you a brief little thing here in the settings. Increased speed out of combat. Not only is this a very, very important setting to have on for keeping yourself sane, it also actually helps you get through trap rooms faster. So turn that setting on. Very important. Charm bow, not very good. Not very good. You can hold it down and you can charm an enemy by, you know, we didn't even go to the secret floor on this run. We'll do that next time. It's another way to get yourself enough money to get the Prime Primer. If you're worried about not having enough, that's a very good way to do that. Because I'll explain that in the next episode, probably. We'll probably go to the sewers and maybe even the second, sorry, the oubliette, and maybe even the second secret floor if we're lucky. But alas, the holster. Typically, you want to stay away. Beam weapons work very well for clearing out his rockets. Most of the enemies, the general idea is circle strafing. For that beam attack, you want to dodge over it, over it, over it. You don't want to run away from it. Wax wings. I actually really dig these. And we also got a synergy with Vulcan Cannon, which I believe gives it increased knockback, which is not really that helpful, really, if you ask me. But I believe it does. It might add some damage or something as well, but the knockback is really pretty rough. All right. So we got everything we need here. We could, in theory, go around and do a little bit of secret room checking. Logically, if you want to be smart, you would use something like this that you know you're not going to really use. I'm do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to be a little bit lazy and check with this because it helps me find out the answer a little bit quicker. It does open up quicker based off of the damage. So what we're going to do, we're going to check all these surrounding walls of these dead ends here. Another good one to check is this is another room where they can be very often. So what I'm going to do, I am going to pop my blank in here, and if it's not in here, we're going to leave. And that's okay. If we really wanted, we could have bought the map to find out exactly where it is. It's not too big of a deal. Secret rooms can be very helpful. They're usually, you know, if you're not playing on camera, at the very least, you should probably be looking for them. If you're having a hard time winning, you should probably be looking for them. There's a couple here and there that can actually completely make a run. None of them can break a run, and there's a couple that can make a run, you know? There's a couple secret rooms that have 3 chests in them, which are very, very useful. Very big deal. That could literally have the items you need to win a run, you know? If you're newer at the game. So we're going to pop open these. There's another thing I didn't talk about on the first floor that is worth knowing. We have flight, so we can actually just completely cheese this. But what I'll do is I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you how to do this otherwise. You just jump from minecart to minecart here. Just take all the way there. I feel like this one's pretty straightforward. I feel like most people could figure this one out on their own. But I'll show you just in case. But it does also show you that there's ways to cheese a lot of these things too. And I haven't done it in forever, so it's kind of fun. Alright, so here we go. Then you got here, bada bing, bada boom, you get the Arcane Gunpowder. This is another one of the pieces for the bullet that can kill the past. it's important because, or it's important to note that it takes up an active item slot, so that's why I made sure to use my my ammo drop earlier, which is Marine starting item, gave me the ammo drop, whatever. It's important to note it takes up that slot. So it's another way of kind of creating a challenge mode. We played 1,000 hours, so we can handle all these challenges at the same time. So we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be just fine. I think we're gonna unlock the bullet that can kill the past literally on this run. Shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad. But we'll talk about the characters for a moment here. We'll talk about the character we're playing as, especially. The Marine starts with an extra piece of armor. I generally think that the Marine is I picked the Marine to start with because I think it's generally the best starter character for someone who is new to the game. Are they the best character of the main four? I'd say probably the main four probably would end up going to the pilot on that one. It's people argue about it here and there. Sticky crossbow is okay. People will tell you it's amazing. I think it's pretty good. If you have nothing else, it's pretty good. We have the Vulcan Cannon, so obviously it's not that great. Versus that, Vulcan Cannon is insanely good. We got very, very lucky. The good thing about the sticky crossbow, though, this is one of those items where there's a couple synergies with it that are broken. Broken OP. Ones that make it so it fires out 3 shots at once that all do the same amount of damage. Effectively, like, literally just tripling its damage. Can be pretty crazy. And that's one fun thing that they added in the future updates that I do really, really like. Is that, not the future updates. There are no more updates to Enter the Gungeon. But, and that's kind of why I'm doing this here. Because I know there's no more. I know this is... At no point is this going to be outdated at this point. At no point will this be outdated. Kind of what I was waiting for, to do something like this. Because a lot of people mention... Like 200 episodes deep on my Enter the Gungeon series, I was getting a lot of people commenting like, why don't you read out what the items do? And I'll do a better job at doing that here in just a moment. Like, I'll go through the items we've got. But it doesn't make sense 200 episodes in. And here, I feel like it makes a little bit more sense. We will eventually get to the point where we are just saying, like, today we're going to be doing this, and then we go do it. But for now, I'll run through the items we got again. We got a couple more, I guess, that I didn't mention. There's Wax Wings, which I think is pretty obvious what it does. It gives us the ability to fly. The noteworthy thing about it is that, you know, you can fly over those pits for the secret stuff, but more noteworthy than that, for long-term use, you can fly over poison, fire, spikes, even those fire traps that shoot fire up that don't look like you should be able to fly over them. You can fly over them. Basically, it just creates a lot of benefits for hazard situations like that. Quite nice. And the other thing we got is the Frozen Heart. You can see back over there in the bottom right, it is the... I'm so stupid for doing this in the middle of combat. That makes no sense. But the Frozen Heart is effectively, whenever you get hit, you release a little... In fact, let's take a hit. We already took one hit. You release all those little icicles there. They do damage. They bounce around the room like crazy. And it does give you a health upgrade, which is handy. It makes it better than bad. Rolling Eye, every time we roll over a bullet, it reflects the bullet back at the enemy. I find very few case scenarios where it's actually useful. It sounds fun and useful, but I think there's very few situations where it's actually useful. What else we got here? We're not going to get, hilariously, we're not going to get Let God on the first one here, which, you know, that's fine. We got a lot of series left to go here to get Let God. We'll probably get it on the second one, which is, you know, if you're new, beating every boss without taking a hit. I'm not too worried about it. I think we're gonna get it for sure in like an episode or two. But all right, what else we got? I mean, we can talk about the guns, but they're all generally straightforward. Flare gun, it's like I consider this to be a supplementary gun. That being, you can have 2 guns. It's important to have 2 guns on a quick switch, usually in a lot of scenarios. But I consider it to be like a quick switch gun, meaning you literally just switch to it and fire. You know, I got on keyboard, just boom, control, and then you switch to the other gun and start firing that instead. I can show you what the exploding gun did too, just for the brief little bit. Woo! That's because of Ruby Bracelet. It doesn't do bad damage. It does something, you know. It's just not really like good though. It seems clear that early on in the game's development, they had an idea that maybe throwing guns would be a bigger part of the gameplay than they eventually ended up being. What else we got? Charm bow. We'll show it off. Charms an enemy on full charge there, which isn't bad. Like, you can see they killed each other there. It isn't bad. In fact, like, it can be handy as once again a supplementary gun. You don't really want to sit there and just use it as your only gun, I think, because it's safe, but if there's any more than a couple enemies, it can be like the more time you spend in a room, the more chance you have of taking damage. Two things of note with that. The longer you spend in the room, the more time you spend possibly taking damage. Meaning, killing enemies quickly is important, and learning where enemies spawn, which you will figure out just by playing the game. There's a certain amount of rooms. You'll learn eventually where every enemy is. Like, enemies are going to be in each room just from playing it a hell of a lot. So that's an overtime thing. But you want to go in and take them all out in order of scariest to least scary, and we'll talk about that in the future too. But basically, the other thing of note with that, as far as just like super basics, you want to dodge roll if it's going to save you from taking damage, but in the same vein of the longer you're in the room, the more chance there is to take damage. You want to technically, you don't ever, if you could help it, if you could walk around every bullet and not take damage, you should do that instead, because that's more time you can be firing. And more time that you're firing means more time you're doing damage. More time you're doing damage means less time you're in each room to possibly take damage. That's what it's about. It's just about minimizing that. And you'll figure that all out with, picking the right items in shops, making sure you're using your resources effectively. Your aim will get better. Your prioritization of enemies will get better over time. And honestly, just generally, your reflexes will get better. You'll get killed by your own slow reflexes less. But this is a stacked run. Honestly, Vulcan Cannon plus an accuracy up is a stacked run. But, anywho, I want to talk about tables, too. Tables are a very, very important thing to utilize. Alright, so how can we showcase how this is supposed to be done? Alright, so there's an invisible path here that we currently cannot reveal. There we go. So in theory, you shouldn't do it this way. If you can have a liquid-based weapon like the Mega Dowser that we passed up in the shop, that would be a better way to do it. But if you're truly hurting, you don't got any liquid, you can do this. You see how it's firing out the little pieces here? You can do that throughout the whole pathway. And obviously we can't fall in, but we wouldn't be falling in. You see what I'm saying? We could do that. Since I have the wax wings, I'm going to save us the rest of the time. But that's a little hack. You might not... There's some weapons don't have the ability to do it. Your starter might, See how it's doing that little stuff there. That'd be the better one to do. And you just follow the path of the little bullets you left. It's the way to do it if you have no liquid weapons. Okay, this is the cell creep. We could go to... Interestingly enough, we could go to the new secret floor from Farewell to Arms. We probably should, I guess, huh? Probably should. Blooper, I actually like it a decent amount. The problem it has is that the reload is insanely bad. Insanely slow. Alright. So here we go. This is the other place where it's, you saw in the first shop, there was the ability to sell stuff as well. It's one of the important places to realize when things are garbage tier. Like, I don't think that Rolling Eye is very good, so I'm going to sell it because this money is going to be more useful to me on this shop, or another place to have that's important to have really good amount of money is on the final. Hold on. Ruby Bracelet? Can we fix it today? I don't know. But yeah, the final shop is an important place to get a lot of money. Because usually there's a lot of good stuff there. I guess I don't have my gun drop on here. Drop gun. I actually put it on the same as my reload. There's an advanced strategy that I'm not going to talk about that is very helpful that involves dropping guns. Makes you go a hell of a lot faster. So I'm going to sell all that because I find it to be not useful to me. You don't have, like, if you don't have a gun like Vulcan, or even like this, or hell, even Blooper can carry you. Blooper's good enough, especially with an accuracy up. Then you might want something like Flare Gun to help make sure that you're doing enough damage between that and, like, another okay gun. But, yeah, Blooper does pretty good. Pretty good. In addition to the accuracy up that we have because of our laser sight, it isn't just a pretty little laser that helps you. Obviously, that gave me a, I think it's a 50% spread reduction, I believe, is what it is, which is very, very good, very important. Found a secret room there. Honestly, kind of a waste for us right now. But the Marine, the starting item for the Marine, the military training manual is, I did not know there was an enemy there. Did not know there was an enemy there. Military training manual is pretty handy. Gives you decreased reload speed, decreased charge time. Let's see, we got rid of the charm bow. Otherwise, that would have been the thing. Yeah, reload speed goes down. Is beneficial. Accuracy goes up in general just by being the Marine, and then your charge time on charge-based weapons goes down. So all in all, that just being the Marine makes every gun just a little bit better. And then in addition, you get the extra shield up there and the free ammo drop whenever, free ammo drop whenever you want. That's why I think he's the best character to learn the game with, personally. We just got Shadow Bullets, which is one of, like, I love all the bullet modifiers. You can see right there, every bullet has a chance to, fire a bonus Shadow Bullet right there. I think it might do a little bit less damage, but it's just, it's effectively a damage up, you know? It's effectively a damage up. I don't love anything I see. I think that this gun is pretty good. Like, it's upper middle, in my opinion. Is it worth 98? Probably. If I didn't have anything I was pleased with, it's worth 98. I currently have stuff I'm pleased with. So I think I'm going to take my money elsewhere. I'm going to take it to the blacksmith at the end. I think it's just going to be more valuable. Or we might want, you know, like an ammo drop. There might be ammo for sale at the blacksmith that would be able to fill up our Vulcan Cannon, which I think is a much stronger weapon. All right, these guys, they all got 4 separate health pools. Typically what I like to do is, is not take damage. All right, it's hard to, it's harder than I thought to talk about the patterns of bosses, but generally, good rule of thumb, stay away if you can. Stay as far away as you can, because you can see right here, like, obviously I should be shooting, but I'm trying to show it off. If you can stay away, there's more of a chance you'll be able to get through the bullets. But yeah, I typically like to go through this way. I don't know why I was doing it the other way. Go with it like a merry-go-round, and dodge over them like that is typically how I like to do it. And then, yeah, anything like piercing weapons are very good against the kill pillars. Bouncing weapons are not too shabby either. Like, you can do something like that. Typically, you want to focus down one if you can help it, which you usually can. There we go. We got one. And if you're good enough, or not good enough, if you got a good enough weapon, you can actually get them all at the same time. And this one is honestly a really easy phase. Just run away, and when he moves towards you, dodge. Easy phase. Easy, easy phase. Easy life. Easy life. Trank gun. It's bad. It's bad. It's just bad. I don't know what to say about it. It has a synergy that stuns enemies, but all in all, it's just like a really, really weak gun. So I'm gonna sell it. I want the money, and you know what we are gonna do? We are gonna actually go to the secret floor here. So what you do is, if you sell 2 items, this is more advanced, but you know, like, you get items. So if you can handle this, it's a good idea. But it's the only secret floor that requires you to sacrifice health, which is interesting. Normally, you just sacrifice a key. 2 keys to get to the sewers, which can be bad, but usually is fine. Usually you'll get what you need. What we're going to do, we're going to sell that to him as well. 2 items and 1 master round. He will not appear if you don't have a master round. And then you pop on and you can go in with wax wings. It just takes a little bit. So it takes you to the RNG department. This was added in the final update. Hello, boy. Hopefully we can get some ammo before the boss. I think I'm gonna use some weaker guns right here. Weaker in my opinion. The one weird thing about the RNG department versus all the other floors is that it actually is not random. It's the only one that has no RNG, or basically no RNG in its placement. So we can tell you that every single time you got to go this way. And there's some benefit to clearing more rooms. Usually on normal floors with secret rooms and everything like that, it's typically like a good idea to explore more rooms. You might get end of room drops. You might get really lucky, get an end of room chest. Typically, if you are in a healthy enough spot, you will probably want to clear the entirety of every floor. Is typically the best way to do it. Typically the best way to do it. Pop them. Explosions do break bullets. It's an important thing to note. It's kind of hard to showcase with this gun, but they used to be more OP. Every single explosion used to break bullets, but yeah, it's really hard to show it off here. There, see that? I blew up them bullets. That makes explosive weapons weirdly a defensive tool. See, like right there, we broke that bullet. I'm trying really hard to showcase it. See, right there, I broke those bullets on purpose so that we wouldn't have to dodge them. All right, I kind of want to save that gun for the boss because we don't have a lot, and we don't really... Oh, never mind. Everything's fine. All good. So yeah, we always just go through this way, and you will get yourself to the boss just like that. Just that easy. So I feel like we can actually use this to explore here. In the early days of Gungeon, like a lot of people would tell you early on your tips in tips and tricks that you need to be very, very conservative with your ammo. I don't think you need to be as conservative with your ammo as people used to think, because there's been a lot of change to the game. Way back the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons update, they made it so it's not as big of a deal. You're not as likely to run out of ammo. That being said, like we might run out of ammo today because we did sell a lot of guns. But as long as you're aiming correctly, you know, you buy ammo when you can in the shop, you're gonna probably be in a good spot. Gonna be in a pretty good spot. Tips and tricks for the boss, guess what? Stay as far away from him as possible. And just learn the patterns. Just learn the patterns. Just figure out where is the safest place to be. Generally, it's gonna be far away. Almost did it. We wasted a blank there. We actually took a hit and then blank, which is about the worst thing you can truly actually do. All right. Bye-bye, boy. Katana Bullets unlocked, a very, very strong item. Or wait, no, why am I thinking of that? I'm thinking blank bullets. A very, very fine item. Strong in some scenarios with weird combinations. Shoots out a bunch of, like a damaging slice blast after hitting an enemy. Sometimes can be good. Usually is not bad. Did we get an item? Jolter. Jolter's not bad. Normally one of the problems it has is that it is slightly inaccurate. It's not a problem today. Not a problem today. Has a pretty high knockback, which, you know, you can abuse that by pushing enemies into pits. That can be a good way if you are having issues where you're running into, you know, running out of ammo a hell of a lot. You can try to just push some enemies, more enemies into pits. You can obviously, always you can use your starter. But like I said, the longer that enemies are on the screen, the higher chance you have to slip up and be hit. Normally you want to dodge. I mean, I'll do this one normal because it can be kind of tricky. You just want to keep dodging, dodge right when he's about to hit. It is, once again, a lot easier if you turn on increased movement speed out of combat. That used to be a very, very annoying room, and it's going to be a problem for us on a very specific run for a specific unlockable character that we're going to have to do later, but other than that, it's really not that big of a deal. But it shows up every single run. It's something to do with the random room generation, which is, I want to point out, it's not entirely random. Not entirely random. meaning that, yes, okay, we're getting pummeled here while I do some explanations. Not entirely random, meaning everything is selected from a handcrafted set of rooms. Every room is made on purpose. Every room is made on purpose. Like, the placement of the enemies is intentional. We got the coin crown for having over 300 shells. I believe that's what that is, and that makes it so if you play well at the end of rooms, you're more likely to get money. You have a chance to get a little extra money. I believe is what that one is. It just helps you get more money. Helps you get more money. It can be okay. I find that I almost always see it in shops, which is a weird feeling of trying to figure out, should I pay money for this? Is it going to help me out? Like, am I going to get enough money to actually make it worth it? Typically, I skip it unless it's really early in the run. I don't know. I just don't think it's like... it's not usually worth mine. So whenever you see this, and it's not the boss, you know that is the Fusilier mini-boss. And honestly, I think that this guy is harder than most of the bosses in the game. The one benefit you have is that typically, or not typically, he does not have a master round. So if you get hit by him, at least you're not losing permanent health. But truly, he's harder than a lot of the regular bosses. We're not going to have too much of an issue today. We might get hit once. Not going to have too much of an issue because we had such a strong weapon in the Vulcan Cannon to begin with. So many freaking keys. Kaga Battle is really strong. Harder for new players to utilize, though, because what you need to do is, after you fire, when you reload, if you press the reload button again, boop, you can chop down the length of your reload time. The thing about this is, if you fail, or if you don't get it, it does, I believe it actually does increase your reload time just fractionally. Fractionally. So this is what we save it up for, buckos. This is what the big bucks is for. We want stuff like the shock rounds, the composite gun. Pick up the composite gun, it's just very strong. You can charge it and does a blank effect being the Q effect, across a huge section of the room. Not the whole room, but like, on top of that, it's like a one-shot bop. In theory, you kind of want to like fire once and then do it to get maximum value out of it, but I say nah. Let's just we're not gonna min-max that hard today. But yeah, you get a huge boost to your damage if you do this effectively. When you see it go green like that, that means you got the damage boost, and it makes it do like, it's like 150% or something like that. It's something crazy. It can be really hard for newer players to get true utilization out of it, but once you can master it, you know, might as well try like in a room like without enemies in it before you go into one. If you got a gun with infinite ammo, try to just practice it a little bit. Can't really utilize it in the Vulcan Cannon here. It does not have a reload, so that's an interesting little tidbit. I find it's really most effective in guns like the Blooper that have super long reload speeds. This is going to be something where even if you're newer to the game and you're having troubles juggling this stuff, the Blooper moves so slow that you're going to be able to utilize it. So we got you got to think about combinations and purchasing things. I know we didn't purchase either the laser sight or the Kaga Battle, but think about how they work in tandem with items to make them better. We got the shotgun, which without this and without the Kaga Battle, you can see it's really inaccurate, and the reload speed is really long. You get both of those working in tandem. That's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. So you can figure out how you know, sometimes combinations do really matter. Do really matter. And sometimes you do have control over that with what's in the shops, what you keep, what you sell. Like, you could think, like, for example, you could be using the Vulcan Cannon and be like, this doesn't do anything. I don't know what this item does and doesn't do anything. Or you just like, I'm never gonna get a use of that. And then you forget that you have the Blooper in your back pocket, and you know it has a use. Obviously, the Kaga Battle has a lot of uses. Beehive, great easy gun to use. Does run out of ammo pretty quickly, but it's super handy for newer players because you can just set it and forget it. If you're having issues multitasking by shooting at enemies and dodging, which I don't mean to laugh, because it's a thing. You know, like when you're starting out, obviously that's going to be challenging at times. It's helpful. It can do a decent amount of damage to bosses while you're focusing exclusively on dodging. It can be really handy. So we're currently on the lookout for... did we already find the black? We did already find the blacksmith. We do have to give all of the pieces to the bullet that can kill the pass so we can unlock pass. I think we're actually going to be able to do our first one today then, huh? Interesting. This guy's unkillable. Whoop. You can polymorph him though. Interesting. You can get rid of him. You can't kill him, but you can get rid of him by turning him into a darn darn chicken with some weapons, things like that. So this is what I was talking about with wax wings. It doesn't look like you should be able to dodge these. Just as a note, you can. Anything that lets you fly, you can indeed. All right. Should probably switch to something else. I'm going to want to use the Vulcan Cannon on the boss. And that is the thing, like, do I like to conserve ammo a lot? No, not a ton, because I do like to, like I said, the less you're in the room, the less chance you have to get hit. Truly. It's big, like, if you take nothing else away, like, take that away. It truly is helpful. But you do want to think about what you're going to have for the boss. Aww. Hey, I see you got the ruby bracelet. Mind if I have it? Sure, it's worthless anyways. Give the ruby bracelet. So we got that done and fixed. This thing, I made it when I was first starting out. I hate it. This reminds me of failure. I'm going to fix it. Make it better. So do we actually get it fixed right away? I thought for sure this was going to be something we would need to wait a little bit. It's better. Different at least. Here you go. Never want to see it again. There we go. So now it gives us contact damage invincibility. You give it to her. And we charge. If we move a bit, we charge up a dodge roll. That does a decent amount of damage. You can dodge roll into enemies to do damage. It's typically not a good idea. With this item, it makes it a little bit better, but it's still really dangerous. If you're new to the game, I'd kind of hazard against it, to be honest. Been a very long time since anyone's come down here. Come to kill your pass made it further than most, that's certain. If you thought it was going to be that easy, you got some bad news for you. What do you mean? The gun that kills a pass, like everything else, needs ammunition. Otherwise, what stop time here? That's old magic. If you find a gun, you may fire, but how far back we go, you might find yourself right back here again. You want to get out of the place, change something about your pass, right? Tear a hole in the bar, but that far back, you'll need a special bullet to make it for you, but I need the parts. That's what you need. Prime primer, we got it. Arcane Gunpowder, we got it. Planar lead, broke from the Great Bullet, we got it. Obsidian shell casing. Ouch. We are gonna get from the current final boss. So here you go. All right. So let's fight the boss. Just like that. We should be fine. We should get the bullet and kill the pass. It's just that easy. I didn't know if we were gonna get it on the first day. So this is a dang good gun. I'm trying to get the auto reload, but you can see how it can be rough at times. There we go, we got it. It does make it do more damage, but there is such a thing as a boss damage cap, making it so there's not actually that big of a benefit. You know, you can see over there, he only goes down so fast. He only can go down so fast, and that's to keep you from having it too OP of a run, making it so you know, you can't quite just delete him in 2 seconds. There's always going to be some kind of a fight. Some kind of a fight. All right. Try a little bit of this just for fun. Blooping. Not the blooper really early on in my original series. I remember really loving it. It was one of my favorite weapons at the time. I think it's not bad. It's really not bad. We're going to 2-cycle this, I think. I don't think any gun we had would 1-cycle it. Composite, maybe. Maybe. Composite gun is an amazing, amazing gun, obviously, if you couldn't tell. The blank effects being pretty darn useful. Hey, look at that. Broke a hole in it. Gave me safe passage. Not too shabby. Alright. The game does stop when you switch your switch your guns. It doesn't, oh no, it doesn't stop. It comes to a screeching crawl. Dragonfire unlocked. Pretty handy gun, not an OP gun, but a pretty handy gun. This is where the final piece of the bullet killer past is. You take that over to the lovely blacksmith. We're gonna buy this for no good reason, other than to have it unlocked, I guess. Chain lightning, I don't even remember what that does. So this gun normally, or the bullets make it so that laser beams are between each. Little electrical bolts are between each bullet. Don't know what the shadow lightning does. Doesn't seem to be doing it a ton. It's fun to have that with the beehive. Been a long time since I made a bullet like this one, and you brought enough for several bullets. If you fail, just come back another time. It's funny how she says several bullets, but she actually has infinite. Alright, we got Alpha Bullet unlocked. And Omega Bullet. Those are going to be handy ones to have unlocked. But here we go. Now what we do. Normally, this is where the game would end. If you do not have the bullet killer pass, you pop up here. You shoot yourself in the face, and then bada bing, bada boom. That's a done run, son. We don't even have the bullet hell unlocked, which is going to be coming later. We do need to beat everybody's past. The 4 main Gungeoneers past, at the very least, I think, right? In order to get that unlocked. But anywho, here we go. If you have the bullet that can kill the past, you can come up here, and you will fight your character's unique specialized path. And it's been a long time since I've actually done the Marines, and this will be sandbagging maybe, but I could lose to it in theory, because it's been a long time since I've had to do these. Because after you do them once, you don't really have any reason to do them again, aside from like wanting to go longer. Oh, it just... The title was over that. Weird. Oh, it's you! I didn't expect to see you again. Something went wrong during the test. Something came out of the opening. The escape pods are just down the hall. Save yourself. You're good at that. Alright. Maybe you can still help them. So we do lose all of our items. This is why I say there's a chance I could lose. We lose all of our items. We get 2 blanks. And our health goes back to our starting HP. So we do have to be careful with that. Marines Past, I think, is probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest ones of the main 4. So while he is a good character to start with to get used to, I think that his is a little bit rougher. I find pilots to be pretty darn easy, personally. It's weird to get used to because it is very different, but once you get used to it, I think it's going to be the easiest one. Convicts is pretty darn easy too. I would say that this one is, of the main 4, one of the harder ones. Alright. Let's keep on dodging from a distance. And kill the ads. Kill the ads like crazy. Okay. You will come back after a matter of time. It's not after you kill the ads, so that's why killing the ads is really important, because if there's too many on the field when he comes back, that sucks. Just straight up. That just sucks. So it is important to kill him quick, so that's why I didn't want to keep using my standard. And usually, like, we got enough ammo to really handle it. That doesn't look like it, but it is poison. Okay. We do have 2 blanks here we might want to use. We obviously aren't going to die. If that's not clear, we're obviously not going to die. I'm going to blank. Thought that maybe we'd kill those. The blanks do, like, a very small amount of damage. Unless, you know, you have an item that changes that. They do a small amount of damage. Okay. Circle straight. And you're done, son. Galactic Medal of Valor unlocked. A very, very strong item to have unlocked. Just helps you out all the way around. You get military training unlocked for all characters. You can get the Marine starting item on anybody now. But having the Galactic Medal of Valor is a fantastic, fantastic unlock. It makes you do more damage, across, like, basically across the board, isn't it? And it helps you even on bosses, hell of a lot. The only thing that can really, like when you have an OP run, the only thing that can really speed up your boss kills is going to be the Gungeoneers strain, which we're going to probably unlock later. I think that's going to be from unlocking an NPC Goopton that we need to get a hell of a lot later, I think. Or maybe we'll randomly get it now, but got the Iron Coin, Katana Bullets, Coin Crown, Dragon Fire, Bait Launcher. That Bait Launcher was for beating it with Beast Mode on, quote-unquote. But doesn't do anything, so you might as well just stick it on. Gun Soul, I believe, is for beating the Dragon. Alpha Bullet, Omega Bullets for making the bullet clear the pass. These are for beating the Marine's pass right there. And that's that. We'll pop on back to the breach because there's going to be a little bit of stuff that we're going to want to unlock. And for beating the pass, we do get a special alt costume for the Marine as well. Pretty darn slick. All right, up here, go to the shop, pick which guns we want to get, which items we want to get. Out of these, rocket-powered bullet's a good get. Hegemony carbine is not bad. That was the one we used in our past there. RPG is fine. Thompson submachine gun is fine. I mean, we're gonna buy all of it. We're gonna buy all of it. Thank you for the assistance. The acquisitions department is once again operational. So we got all those. So those can show up in the Gungeon now. Anywho, that is going to do it for today. We will probably come back and check. I think there's going to be another set of things that we can get later. But here you can see we got the full bullet to kill the pass made. Bada-bow. This shows the parts that you have turned in. It does build up incrementally. We just got them all on the first run, so that's why it's made in its entirety. But that is going to do it for today. Hopefully you learned something if you're new. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death if you're not. I'm been looking forward to doing something like this. I share it with anybody you want to get into Enter the Gungeon. Have this be their jumping point. And if you came to this and you're experienced in Enter the Gungeon already, and you have not seen my other stuff, I'll put a link in the description for my normal series where I don't talk about things as in depth. There's like 700 something episodes of that, so don't you worry, you pretty little face. That's gonna do it for today. Subscribe for daily roguelike videos, all kinds of Enter the Gungeon, all kinds of everything else. Go check it out. Playing a lot of games. Playing Undermine is another fantastic one. Dicey Dungeons I'm playing. What else we got? All kinds of stuff. Noida. Go check it out. Go check it out. I do have a Discord with a link in the description if you need further help on playing Enter the Gungeon. We do have a Gungeon channel in there that is going to be more than willing to help. Link in the description for the Discord. Go in there, go into the hashtag Gungeon section, and they'll be more than willing to help you in there. You can, or if you're familiar with the game, you could just go in there and talk about Enter the Gungeon in general. Anywho, that is going to do it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you. See you next time.